I'm Jordan with the Left Edge Society, and today we're going to cover all the gear and equipment that myself and my partner Bob carried for the 2025 Mammoth Sniper Challenge at Fort Chaffee this year. All right, so we're going to cover the firearms that I used for this year's Mammoth at Fort Chaffee. I shot secondary, so I shot 223. I never had an interest in shooting 308. Seemed just the ballistics aren't there for this competition. 308 people, I'm one of them. Don't hate me. But the ammo is lighter, better ballistics. 223. So, that being said, I carried the Ridgeline LPR. This rifle has been great. I was one of the people that always said I would never carry a gas gun for Mammoth because I thought you were giving up accuracy, you're giving up points. I always carried a bolt action 223 rifle. Once I got this, started shooting it, this kind of changed my mind. I was super happy with it, getting great results from it, and I was finally convinced that I could carry a gas gun for Mammoth and not give up anything. That's in combination with the ammo I was using. So I was using Black Arc, the 262 Alpha 77 grain Sierra Match King ammo. This stuff shoots lights out. So this combo between the gun and the ammo, great results. Speed wise, I think this stuff is going like 2870 out of this gun was my average. I mean, it shoots flat, just works great. So this combo, awesome. But just to go over the gun, just to see what I had on it, PRS light stock from Magpul, no issues with that there. Some people have length of pull issues. For me, it was good to go. I used a Night Force 4-16 ATAC R, Mil XT reticle for holdovers. I don't think I dialed once during this match at all. Night Force mount, Thunder Beast bipod, and Huxworks 7.62 can with a Liberty's Defense cover. These covers work great. I know they're pricey. You get what you pay for it. These things are awesome. Love them. They're on every one of my guns. And then on top of it, what we used the most was the new Tango Fire 4000 rangefinder. This thing has worked awesome since the day I got it. No issues really whatsoever to speak of. A few design things I wish they would change, and I've talked to them about it, and they said they're coming out with some new stuff for it, so that would be awesome. But other than that, this thing worked absolutely awesome. Ranged quick, good data out of it. I know a lot of people are a little concerned that it doesn't have any environmental sensors on board, but I carry my Kestrel with me. I Bluetooth it to this. It pulls the environmentals from my Kestrel in about a second, and that's it. Environmentals are locked in on this thing. That's fine. I carry my Kestrel everywhere anyway, so for me, it wasn't a big deal. I know a lot of guys use the Vortex. That's cool. No, people like that thing. That's fine. I like this smaller form factor, more streamlined. Just my preference. Screen's awesome. No issues seeing the screen. No issues with battery. Obviously, it was warmer weather at Fort Chaffee, so the cold weather really wasn't an issue with batteries on this, but nevertheless, worked awesome. Had great experience with it. Used 20 round Magpul mags. These things are pretty light, number one. Number two, going prone, no issues with these. You could say I could just extend the bipod and shoot 30s, but these work just fine. So that was good to go. On the handgun side, I use a Glock 17 Gen 5. Nothing too special here. It does have the Trijicon RCR red dot on it. One thing I will stress here with pistol points count just as much as rifle points do at Mammoth. First year I ever shot Mammoth, myself and my partner then shot really well. I think we lost a lot on pistol. You don't realize these pistol points are just as important, so make sure you take your time and get your pistol hits. With holster, I see a lot of guys running Safariland holsters, running full rigs, whatever the case may be. For me, there's no need for that. I'm trying to save weight. This is Mammoth. It's not a regular competition where you're not worried about it. You can throw stuff in a truck or whatever the case may be. I have a lightweight Kydex holster. Positive retention. There's no issue of it falling out, but it's lightweight. That's it. No light, no nothing. lightweight. Has a tech lock on the back. I take it out of my pistol never leaves the holster at Mammoth. Safety is very big there. Never leaves the holster. Mount it to my belt, put it on, shoot the stage, come off, stays in the holster, goes right back in my pack, no issues. Last thing you want to do at Mammoth is get DQ'd because a firearm fell out of the holster, you lost control of your rifle, you know, whatever the case may be, you didn't put all that time, effort, and training into something to get DQ'd on day 1, day 2, or even worse, day 3. So keep it simple. The other thing I will say is make sure you change your batteries. My one experience with batteries, and it was definitely a learning experience, was the first stage on my first Mammoth ever. My red dot battery died. It was, you know, stupid of me not to change the batteries, but I did. I learned from it, and now I never do it again. So make sure you put fresh batteries in everything. I write a date on the batteries to make sure I know when it was changed. Usually when I check these, it was usually changed right before the last Mammoth I shot. So make sure you're putting fresh batteries in everything. All right, and that covers the firearm stuff. Support bag wise, I did carry this medium Game Changer from Armageddon Gear with the Get Light fill. This thing works really well. It's light. It's awesome for any position that you can get in. Use as a rear bag. I like to use my rear bag upside down like this. I think that's pretty popular these days. And then for positional, you can put it on anything you need to, any sort of prop, railing, you know, whatever they throw at you. This works really well. So Game Changer with Specs Light. All right, and we'll move on to the next. All right, next we'll cover the pack that I used. This is the Everly Stock Gunslinger 2. You can see, stand it up. Use the hard frame there, regular straps, and I use the extra padded waist belt. Little note on the straps here. I originally bought the extra thick padded straps for this, not realizing that they're made longer than the regular ones. When I was training, I had issues where the pack was coming loose, and contacted Everly Stock. They told me that the padded ones only come in a longer length. Not really sure why. Whatever the case may be, switched back to the regular straps that it came with. It worked okay. They do dig into your shoulders with some weight, and these still seem to come loose a little bit. So not really sure what the issue is. The first year with this pack, prior to this at Mammoth, I was using the Tactical Tailor Malice pack. Awesome pack, padded, great, kind of too big. I had too much. I would pack the same amount, and I actually had too much room in it. So I would cross carry the rifle, wouldn't support it very well. Actually picked this up at the Mammoth prize table last year in 2024. Figured I'd give this a go. So again, the only modification made was I did the extra padded waist belt. That did help. I also put a little pouch here, cover some stuff, to carry some stuff, excuse me, on the rucks. So, you know, some goo gel, snack, headphones, you know, important. So did use the scabbard for weapons carry. It actually worked out really well. Wasn't too sure how that was going to feel, but this did carry it well. Had no issues there whatsoever. Part of my kit this year, because of the rain, or possibility of rain, we did get some as well, is I use this Cold Tack rifle cover. Even if it didn't rain, this is actually a good thing to have. This thing weighs nothing. You don't have to worry about adding weight to your pack. But what it does is it allows you to slide your weapon into the scabbard a lot easier. You know, trying to shove that thing in there with, you know, all the different stuff on the gun, kind of a pain in the butt. Putting this over the gun, wrapping it up, just kind of slid right in. So this is a good thing to have whether it's going to rain or not. Anyway, main compartment of the pack, pretty straightforward. Everything kind of fit in here nicely. Actually didn't have a ton of room in here, which is good. So everything packed in tight and fit kind of well, like playing Tetris. Tent poles and stakes would go in these little pockets here. I had a rain fly for the pack in this pocket that's underneath. There's a little pocket here. You can see that. It's a little zip pocket. Tripods. I can't show you the tripod right now because it's holding up the camera, but tripod would go on the side. And I actually learned this from the guys up at Ridgeline. So shout out to them. Get a little 4-inch rubber sewer pipe coupling, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. It's at Home Depot. But you put that in the side pocket here, creates an awesome open space to put a tripod in. That way you're not worrying about opening up this side pocket all the time or pain in the butt to get in and out. Worked great. And then another tip from somebody else, totally unrelated to Mammoth, use these little rubberized, I don't know, twist ties, whatever you want to call them. I forget the brand name. But I kind of interwove that into the molly on the side here. So that way when I put the tripod in, I would just take this, wrap it around it, and tie it off a couple times. That way, even if the straps came loose on the bag, this stays tight. This is not coming apart. So this worked out really well. Able to store everything neatly. You know, Mammoth isn't a gear race per se, but it's definitely, you know, you definitely do better when you manage your gear better. So it's these little things. I mean, this thing costs nothing, but the fact that I can put the tripod in here with ease, in and out, no issue. If we get on the stage not anticipating to use tripod, and then we did, it was really easy just to pull it out of this spot. It wasn't cinched down in the pocket because I carry my tripod head down to protect the head. It was very easy, in and out, no issues there. Coming around to the top, little waterproof pocket here. Just kept the little lens cloth in here just in case. So that way you keep it in a dry pocket. If you need to wipe the scope off. They did keep scope caps on the gun. I always recommend keeping scope caps on your scope. That way, you know, you protect yourself from the elements. It rained pretty good on us on the first day. So you definitely want to keep your lenses protected so you can see. I would just keep essentials up in this pocket here. Magazines, my ammo, whatever little things that you can think of. Phone, I have my phone on me. I keep it in airplane mode. Throw it off every once in a while. Talk to the kids, wife, whatever have you. And that's it for the pack. Nothing else special there. Pretty straightforward. All right, next we'll cover some of the accessory gear that I carry for Mammoth. Just go over the little things. First being a headlamp. This is a black diamond headlamp. I've had this thing for years, works great. Headlamp is very important, whether it's in your tent overnight, whether it's your first ruck of the morning where it's usually starting in the dark, just making sure you're not stepping into any potholes or anything crazy like that. Want to avoid any injuries. Definitely carry a headlamp, very important. Range finding binos. These are really, really important to have. I found that we only used them once this past Mammoth. We were using the Tango 4000 weapon mounted rangefinder, and that thing worked really well. We were able to scan together really good as a team on glass on our rifles. So I didn't use these too much. We did use them, I think, maybe twice actually, but they're definitely good to have. I wouldn't go to a Mammoth without them. I don't care if I didn't use them at all this past Mammoth. I would still carry them. So we've been using the SIG Kilo 10K Gen 2s. These things work really well. The heads-up display in them is awesome. I really like that you can adjust the aiming point to the reticle in here, so that way you get it spot on. And the dope that displays is really good. It's always pretty much spot on. So these things are really awesome. They're a little heavy, not gonna lie. They're a little on the heavier side for a set of binos. But I do carry these on a chest rig, which I'm going to cover here. So I don't count them towards my weight in my pack because I don't put them in my pack. I keep them on a chest rig that I keep on my chest all times. I ruck with it, so it's weight off my back. I know it's on my body. Some people may say you should count that. That's fine. I don't, because it's not on my back. I'm really looking at the weight that's on my back, and to me that's the most important. So like I said, up for debate, but that's how I do it. And these stayed on a chest rig that I will cover in a minute. Data board for your arm. These things are really great, really awesome to use. With a dry erase pen, it's really awesome to use, so that way you can put notes for the stage after your brief. Dry erase does not work well in rain, so remember that. But if you have a write in rain pad, what I would do is I would take my notes from the stage, I would rewrite them so they're a lot more legible, because you're writing them down really fast during your briefs. And I would just put them in the sleeve here. They would get wet, but the write in rain ink would stay. We'd have no issues there. So at least I had something to visualize. And we would always have a dope card in here. We'd always have a dope chart. So that way, if I, for whatever reason, electronics go down, didn't have time to arrange something, but I see a target, who knows, but I can go off my dope here. One thing to note how I do my dope cards, I usually wait until a couple days beforehand, try to get a feel for the weather, where the match is, and I'll actually go to the local airport's website and pull their weather data, and then build my card off of that. I'll input that weather data into my Kestrel, and then I will make my dope charts off of that. So I'm using the weather there, not where I am. Might make small differences, but I think it makes a difference. Ear Pro, I use the Auto Noise Barrier Ear Pro. They come in this case. I don't need this case. The batteries last in them. If you're unfamiliar, they're two little earbuds. This case is a battery. I pull these out. I have this little Bose case I got from a pair of headphones a while ago. I keep them in this little clamshell. Close it up. That way I'm not carrying the weight of this battery pack, and these are easily accessible. Usually I keep these in the top pouch of my pack, or I put them in that side pocket on the waist belt of my pack. Either way, quick, accessible. Myself and my teammate both ran suppressors, so if there were no pistol on a stage, I probably wouldn't throw these in. I don't know if I should say that or not, but probably wouldn't throw these in, just so I could hear my partner better, whatever the case may be. But that's how I carry those. Talked about the dry bags that I carry. These are not dry bags. They're resistant, but they're not dry bags. These are not waterproof. But these are from Everly stock. I use these in just organization. So whether it's ammo, matter of fact, I kept all my ammo and magazines in this one. So that way everything was organized into one space. Kept toiletries in this one. I'll go over those in a minute. I carry dude wipes. I wear contacts. So extra contacts, a little bit of contact solution, a holder, my glasses, toothbrush, a little bit of toothpaste, so I'm not totally disgusting. And this one, when I go over food, I'll cover that, but this would be all my snacks, nutrition, anything like that. But it's all organized. Again, I can't stress that enough. It all goes back, for me anyway, it goes back to organization. I want to be organized so that way I know where everything is. Nothing's lost in a pack. I don't go to look for something in a panic and can't find it. Makes it very easy. And then lastly, I'll cover here, titanium spork. That works. This is the chest rig I use. So this is the Agilite Reaper chest rig. Worked really well. I had no issues with it over the whole weekend. It just comes as a straight molly, and then you can put whatever you want on it, and it has these little accessory wings here that I used. It was really comfortable. I had no pressure points, no pinch points. I didn't have anything wrong with it. It was comfortable. The only thing missing here is I had borrowed a Hill People Gear Bino pouch that I mollied here. I had to give that back. So that's not on here anymore, but that's what took the place right here in this empty spot. They're not in stock, so I had to borrow one. If anybody knows where I can get one, let me know. But that one here held the binos right here on my chest the whole time. So they were always accessible. And on the binos, I have this little really right stuff Arca clamp here so that they clamp right into the top of the tripod. Going forward on the chest rig, I'd always keep a magazine here. So I have a rifle mag here and I have a pistol mag here. These weren't my initial mags for a stage. These would just be my backups. So if I needed to reload. And the two marathon stages that we had there, shooting a gas gun, I definitely did a reload. So these were really good to have. You always want to have mags accessible to you in case you have a malfunction or you have to do a reload. whatever the case may be, you want to have additional ammunition on you somewhere. If we actually had a little snafu on a stage, and look, things happen. Partner needed to reload, didn't have a mag on him, and had to go to his pack and ate up a bunch of time. It's all right. We all make mistakes. I've made a lot of mistakes on stages as well. It happens. But just a note going forward, and you learn from it. On the other side here, I had a pouch from Spiritus, and this is for my Kestrel. So this Kestrel is probably invaluable. Use it all the time. I don't care if I have a dope chart on me. I don't care if I have a weapon mounted rangefinder that gives me dope. I'm still going to carry this Kestrel. This is always my go-to. So I'll always keep it on me. And then because the Tango does not have environmental sensors on it, and there's a whole myriad of reasons for that. Anyway, I just use this. I Bluetooth this to the Tango about once in the morning and once in the afternoon. It pulls the environmentals off this, locks it into the Tango, and it's good to go. It took all of 5 seconds of my time, so 10 seconds total in a day, and it worked great. But I kept this on here. Now again, like I said, maybe some people would say otherwise. I don't count this stuff towards my total weight. Now, ammo I have in my total weight. Magazines I counted for my total weight, and I have an Excel spreadsheet that I'll post up here. But I don't, as far as the chest rig, the bino pouch, and the binos, I don't count that towards my total weight on my back. I'm like, again, I've said it before. I know it's on my person, it's weight on my feet. I get it, but I'm worried about the weight on my back. That's where I'm most concerned with. That's what I'm most concerned with. So, nevertheless, this was a chest rig I used, and it worked really well. So, Agilite Reaper was pretty good. All right, and next we'll go on to nutrition. One thing I forgot to cover on this Agilite Reaper chest rig is it has this compartment back here for admin stuff. This is where I would keep my Right and Rain pen, and this is where I keep the Right and Rain pen. It's a good spot to keep little stuff like this. That way it was out of the weather and it was easily accessible for stage briefs. So just a good thing to remember on that. All right, next thing we'll cover is nutrition. Everybody is different with how they need to consume food, snacks, hydration, energy, whatever you need. This is what works for me. It's worked. This is, I think, my 5th Mammoth now. It's always worked for me. So this is totally subjective for myself personally. I use Peak Meals. I think between these, Mountain House, they all kind of do the same thing, right? I think these taste a little better. So I use these, all different flavors. This one I didn't bring with, this was left over. This one is cheesy chicken and broccoli. I did not bring this one. Most of what I ate was the chicken pasta pesto. I had the granola in the morning, and I had some chicken and rice, that kind of stuff. But how I plan these out is I carry 7 meals. I don't plan on eating one for breakfast in the morning on Friday because I eat before I come to the initial brief in the morning to start. So I'll have breakfast then, so I don't need to carry a meal. I do plan on eating lunch, and I plan on eating dinner on Friday. And then on Saturday, I plan on a breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then on Sunday, I plan for a breakfast. I do carry a lunch. Sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't, depending on when we finish, how long the day goes. But I carry 7 of these meals. They don't weigh a lot. They do take up a little room in the pack, so you kind of have to shove them in there. Definitely shoehorn them in when everything else is in your pack. But these work really well, really good. On this note, we do carry a jet boil. My partner carried that, but we do carry a jet boil to heat up the water so that way you can eat these things, because without that, this would be terrible. I don't have any of the protein bars that I used. I used Stinger. It was like a protein nut bar type thing. I forget the exact number I carried on those, but I carried those as well for snacks. So that would be in between meals, at night, in the morning, whatever the case may be. If I was a little hungry and I didn't want to eat a meal, I would eat one of those. I did carry enough, so that way I definitely had a couple left over by the end of the weekend. I carried goo gels. These things are great. Learned this from marathon guys. but I would usually take one of these before every ruck, maybe in the midday if I just wanted a kind of an energy boost. I don't know, maybe it helps, maybe it didn't. Half of this is mental, so felt like it did. But I would take a goo gel at least probably a couple times a day. Helped with just some calories, some energy. Carried, I want to say I carried 15 of these, 12 or 15, something like that. Had these with me, definitely had some left over, did not use all of them. Again, I don't have any more of these left, but for hydration, I would use hydration powders. Whether I use Drip Drop, I know Liquid IV has some, I think Peak makes some. Whatever it is, a couple times a day, I would dump one in a bottle of water and drink that just to keep my electrolytes up, make sure I stay hydrated, just kind of replenish the system. So that worked really well. And then just a little titanium spork thing I would use. You don't want to burn your hands on this stuff with the boiling water. This is lightweight, weighs absolutely nothing, but definitely worthwhile to have. And I think that's it for nutrition. I would keep all my food, all my, not the meals, but all my snacks, goo gels, Drip Drop electrolyte powders, all in one of those Everly stock pouches. That way it keeps everything organized. I don't have to fight to find it. Again, I keep hitting this over and over again, but definitely organization. It helps a ton. All right, next we're going to cover our camping / sleeping gear. First thing first is the tent. I don't have that set up here. I'll put a picture up on the screen so you can see it set up. One thing I've always done with Mammoth, was whoever my partner is, we always have individual tents. It's always a topic for discussion. Some people think they're going to save weight and they'll sleep in one tent. Look, at the end of the day at Mammoth, I stink, and so does my partner. And we're probably going to get up and pee about 3 times during the night. Last thing I want to do is be laying next to another stinky dude who's going to get up just as much as I am to hit the bathroom. So your own tent is worth it, trust me, for your own sanity. So I don't have my tent right now in front of me. It is set up outside drying. It is soaked. So what I do have is I have the tent poles here, and they come in their own little bag. Pretty straightforward. Same with the stakes. These would get put into the pack itself, separate from the tent. What I learned was that the little baggie that comes with the tent is great for whatever else. For Mammoth, I don't need it. Everything's going to go in a dry bag or get its own little compartment inside my pack for organization. Organization's a big deal. It's how you find stuff, pack stuff away, get consistent with it. It's less of a headache. All right, so you got these. The rest of the tent, being the tent itself and the rain fly, would go into one of these dry bags. This one's Everly stock. I have a few of these. I have a few Amazon specials. They all pretty much work the same. I feel like the Everly stocks are a little better constructed, obviously compared to Amazon stuff. Everything, whether it's camping gear, sleeping gear, my clothes, whatever else, goes in these dry bags. I don't care if it's going to rain or not. It's easy to organize these things. So it's even better if you can get different colors. I do have a green one, I have a brown one, I have a black one. If you can organize them, it's even better. It makes it so that you don't have all this crap laying around in your pack and you don't know where it's going, you don't know where it is, you lose something at the bottom. These things are great, so worth the money. Sleeping bag, I use a Nemo Caillou, I think it's pronounced. I've used this since my first Mammoth in 2020. This is great. Even if it's cold, it's good. It's a 15-degree bag. Second Mammoth I shot, got down in the 20s. This thing was great. Slept in it all night. Had no issues being cold. When it's hot, when it's warm, this past Mammoth, at night it was probably in the 60s, during the day 80s, so you're still pretty warm. This thing was great just as a blanket. I would just, keep it off to the side. If I got a little chilly, I'd throw it on top of me. If I got a little warm, I'd throw it off. It was actually pretty comfortable. So this thing's really good. It packs up tight, no issues there. I actually put my pillow that I carry inside of here just to consolidate things. Works really well. So this is a good bag to have. As far as pillow goes, it's just about comfort. I'm not trying to be uncomfortable at night. I was uncomfortable all day. So it doesn't weigh much, something little. probably about this big, but just something to rest your head on, so I don't have to make a pile out of my dirty sinking clothes that I don't ever want to see again until they hit a washer. So good little thing to have. And as far as sleeping pad goes, this is a Nemo Tensor Mummy sleeping pad. Everybody busts my chops about this thing. It is loud. It's every time I move, pretty sure all of camp yells at me. It's lightweight, it's comfortable. I don't have any issues sleeping on it, but it is loud. So just be mindful of that. It does sound like I'm rolling over on cellophane. It's all right. But good thing to have, it's lightweight. So that's the important thing. Keep stuff lightweight. Keep stuff in your pack that you're gonna not so much enjoy using, but that you're going to use, and it's not gonna make your weekend harder. It's the biggest thing. If everything you have can make your life a little bit easier at Mammoth, it'll just add up to just keep your mind on the important things. Making your rucks, shooting well, and hopefully finishing well at the end of the weekend. All right? Next we'll go into some clothing stuff and footwear. So clothing-wise, I don't have that in front of me. I try to keep it pretty simple. The one thing that I've always used, and again, if you find something that works, don't change it. I'll use an Under Armour compression shirt as a base layer, and then I'll throw one of those UV lightweight hoodies on over that. Usually works pretty well. Obviously, this wasn't a cold weather match. If you were in cold weather, maybe you change that up a little bit. But for this one at Fort Chaffee, that's what I would go with. Worked really well, had no issues. The reason for the compression shirt and then the UV hoodie over top of it basically just reduces any friction. I don't have anything really rubbing. The outer hoodie slides over the compression shirt, and I don't get any hot spots. I don't get any pressure points. It seems to work pretty well. Pants wise, I used a pair of QU pants. I don't remember the exact name. Maybe, yeah, I'm not sure. But they have vents on the sides. They're really lightweight. They work really well. So that worked for me. And that's that. As far as footwear goes, footwear is a very, very personal thing. I've tried and tested a bunch of different combinations, socks, shoes, inserts, you name it, I've tried it. The first few years I did Mammoth, I had a pair of Solomon trail running shoes that actually worked pretty well. They wore out. I wanted to try something different. Last year I used Solomon Speed Crosses. Big mistake. For me personally, not knocking the shoe, but for Mammoth, did not work out. Toe box was too tight, soles were too thin. I felt every rock I stepped on, and I had raw flesh in between my toes. It was not fun. So using that learning experience, I ended up for this year with these guys. So these are the Ultras. I'd be lying to you if I told you exactly the model number or the model name, but I ended up with these guys. Very, very comfortable. Toe box being extra wide, had no issues with the toes. Soles were pretty thick, had no issues with pain on the bottom of my feet. Sock wise, what I ended up doing and trying that worked for me was I went with these toe socks. I'll butcher the brand name, Gen-G or something like that. I got them at REI. This eliminated all my issues with my toes. Now with the wider toe box, maybe I don't have that problem anymore, but I didn't want to chance it. So I wore these toe socks as a liner, and then I had darn tough wool socks over top of that. This whole combination worked awesome for me. I ended up with 2 small blisters on the top of my large toes. Some people get them there. I had put some tape there, but they still rubbed a little bit. No issues anywhere else. No toe issues, no blisters on the bottom of my feet, the back of my feet, no pain, no nothing. So this worked awesome for me. If I do Mammoth again, it's a big if after 5 of them, but if I do it again, this will definitely be my go-to combination again. This worked great. This may not work for somebody else, may not work for you. So if you're going to do Mammoth or you have done it and you had issues, try out different stuff. Make sure you are putting the time in to train for it. The last thing you want to do is try something new when you get there. that is the worst time to do it. Any match in general, but Mammoth especially, because it'll eat your lunch for sure. Otherwise, clothing, one of these Everly Sock dry bags. I'd have extra pairs of socks, change the socks out. I would have a couple extra pairs of boxers. Again, this stuff weighs nothing. Obviously, it adds up, but this is minor stuff. But new shirt, compression shirt. I always wore the same lightweight hoodie. I didn't change that out. But to me, it didn't really matter to change that out. But anything actually on my skin, I would change out. So the compression shirts I would change. Other than that, that was it for clothing wise. Outer clothing wise, as far as weather, rain gear, what I brought with me was this lightweight QU rain jacket. Again, had this thing for years. This thing works awesome. It's a lightweight jacket, so you have to keep that in mind. After it rains a lot, you will start to get wet through this. This is not impervious to rain all day in heavy rain. That's just not what this is made for. But it worked for what conditions we had. What I always like to do is I basically take the kitchen sink with me to these matches. And the day before, myself and my partner will analyze the weather forecast, look at it, and then we'll pack accordingly. If there was no rain in the forecast whatsoever, 0% all 3 days, obviously this is not coming with me. But we had chance of rain. I think at one point it was a chance of rain every day. It was fluctuating, but with the temperatures, with the rain total forecast, with everything taken into account, the lightweight jacket was the go-to, and this worked great. Kept me dry for the most part. When it did stop raining and the sun came out, I would hang it on a tree or hang it somewhere in camp, let it dry out. For the most part, it worked fine. Really no issues. If it's going to be cold, as we saw in January with Mammoth, if it's going to snow, maybe I have heavier rain gear, maybe I pack that out. Adds a little weight to the pack, obviously, but it's all about comfort. You do not want to stand there and shiver and be wet and cold. That is probably one big reason why some people tap out of this competition, is because the conditions are terrible and they're not prepared for it. So just, it's all about preparation. All right, and now we will wrap it up. All right, so I think it covered pretty much everything that I had for Mammoth and the preparation that went into it. If you have any questions or anything like that, you can hit us up on social media, The Left Edge Society, or you can email us, info@theleftedsociety.com. Be happy to answer any questions. This is a great community. I love shooting this match because of the people that are involved with it. It is an awesome event. Chris puts on a great match. He has great support staff. Can't thank all the sponsors enough. This year, my partner and I were lucky to take home certificates for Defiance Action and a Thunder Beast suppressor. So thank you to them for supporting the match and for all the other sponsors involved. That's it. Thanks, guys.